Hello traders, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to show you how to use the midnight opening price with your daily bias and entry setup. I will simplify it in a way that even a beginner could understand. First, if you don't know what midnight opening price is, then you first have to watch my earlier video on midnight open. Then you will be able to easily understand what I am about to share. Now, let's get straight to the charts. So coming onto the charts, the first thing we have to do is mark out 4-hour liquidity levels. So here you can see that 4-hour sell-side liquidity is already swept, so we know that the price will move upwards. So you can see this 4-hour high, which I will mark as our 4-hour buy-side liquidity. And we expect price to move upwards and sweep this buy-side liquidity. So now let's drop down to 15-minute time frame and I will show you what exactly you have to do. So look here, we have the candle created at 10:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time, which is 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we will mark out the opening price of this candle, which becomes our midnight opening price. Now our bias is bullish, so we want price to go below the midnight opening price. Here we can see that the price has swept a sell-side liquidity below the midnight opening price. So now we have to look for confirmations. Now you can see right here we got a 15-minute change in state of delivery. So we will enter right here, place our stop below the low, and target the 15-minute high as our buy-side liquidity. Price started moving to the upside and gave us our target. Look how clean price moved towards our target. Now let's remove all of this and wait for the next day to start. So now we have our midnight open candle here. We will mark the opening price of this candle, which becomes our midnight opening price. So the 4-hour buy-side liquidity is still not swept, so our bias is bullish. We are still expecting the price to go below the midnight opening price and sweep the sell-side liquidity. So notice here the price goes below the midnight open and then swept a sell-side liquidity. So now we just want any confirmation. Look here, we have an inverse fair value gap. So we will enter on this gap, place our stop below the low, and target the buy-side liquidity. Once again, a clean and quick target. It's that simple. Now let's check out our 4-hour time frame. Here you can clearly see that the buy-side liquidity is not swept, so our bias still stays bullish. Now let's shift back to the 15-minute time frame and wait for the next day to open. So look here, we have our midnight open candle, so we will again mark out our midnight opening price. We are still expecting the price to go below the midnight opening price and sweep this sell-side liquidity. So the price has swept our sell-side liquidity. Now we only want bullish confirmations. So here we have a 15-minute inverse fair value gap. But let's drop down to a lower time frame to see it more clearly. We always have to consider discounted price for entries. So look here, we have a 5-minute fair value gap, which is more clear. So we will enter here, place our stop below the low, and target the buy-side liquidity. Here the market got us in a little bit of drawdown, but still gave us our target. Now let's remove all of this and move on to the next day. Now let's mark out our midnight open candle. But notice that our 4-hour buy-side liquidity has been swept now. So let's look at the 4-hour time frame. I can also see a 4-hour fair value gap here, which has not been rebalanced till now. There is also this 4-hour low, which I will mark out as my sell side liquidity. Now let's drop back to the 15-minute time frame. So now we will mark out our opening price. But remember that our bias is now bearish, so we want price to go above the midnight opening price now. Now you can see the price goes above the midnight opening price and then gives us a confirmation by creating a change in state of delivery. So we will enter right here, place our stop at the high, and target the recent swing low as our sell side liquidity. Here you can see how clearly our setup was respected and delivered us our target. Look how simple this whole thing was. Now let's wait for the next day. So now here we have our midnight open candle. We will again mark our midnight opening price and wait for price to go above the opening price. We also have a high above the opening price, which I will mark as my buy side liquidity. Now look here and notice that the price went above the opening price, didn't take out our buy side liquidity, but gave us a confirmation by creating a change in state of delivery. So now let's enter, but why? Because we have our confirmations and we also have a fair value gap. So we will enter on this fair value gap, place our stop at the high, and target these recent lows as our sell side liquidity. Price moved sideways for a while, but in the end, it delivered to our target. Now let's wait for the next day. So now we have our midnight candle here. We will mark out this candle and then we will mark the opening price of this candle as our midnight opening price. So the price didn't go above the midnight price and went straight to the sell side liquidity. It happens sometimes while you are waiting for your setup, but the market doesn't even give you any setup, and that's fine. We have to be comfortable with it. This is how real trading is. Look how simple this whole setup is. We have traded all the market maker buy model and the market maker sell model just with the opening price. Just keep your trading approach simple. This one thing is very powerful. Just be consistent with it. So, thanks for watching. If you want to take your trading to the next level, make sure you join my Telegram and Discord communities. Inside, you'll get daily market overviews, educational breakdowns, smart money insights, and a supportive community of traders who are learning and growing every single day. And if you're someone who wants personalized guidance, a clear roadmap, and direct help with your trading journey, you can reach out to me on Discord for one-to-one mentorship. I'll walk you through everything step by step so you can trade with confidence, clarity, and consistency. I appreciate you all. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.